Like I was telling you right before that I think it was 2013 I tried to first get you to Story Expo, and here we are in 2020, and I'm so thrilled to finally have you here to talk to you.
My pleasure. I'm sorry it took so long, and I hope I'm worth it.
I think you're more than going to be worth it. So briefly, so you went to Harvard. You graduated from Harvard
In 1981.
1981, and
Time was not a career move. I was on the Harvard Lampoon. I joined because my roommate Mike Reiss was on first, and he said that it was really fun. And I met the friends that he had made there. They were really, really funny. And now I work with them all still.
That's funny. That's funny. And so what was your first gig then in TV?
Well, our first writing gig in college, we were recruited by National Lampoon, the magazine, and so we worked there as editors for 1 year in 1981 to 2. Because of an article we wrote there, we were asked to write on the movie Airplane 2. We were like punch-up writers for the director Ken Finkelman, and then we got an agent from that. And our first television show was not necessarily the news.
Right. And you did that for about you wrote about 16, 17 episodes, I think, of that.
We were on it for about a year and a half, on and off. We did it. We went to another sitcom that quickly got canceled, and then we ran back to not necessarily the news. And then we left for the Tonight Show, where we were for another year and a half.
And then, so how did you get on the Tonight Show then with Carson?
Someone who was there asked us for a sample, and we had like not necessarily the news clips, and we wrote some monologue jokes, and they hired us, but not for the monologue. It was for the other stuff, the Karnak, the desk spots. You know, people would go, "Wait, what is it you do?" Like they didn't realize that he had writers other than the monologue. But it was 2 separate staffs, and ironically, there was a Mulholland on both the monologue and the sketch staff, and they each I think had a leg injury the same day. And so it was 2 Mulholland writers from the Tonight Show checked in at the same hospital the same day.
Wow. Now, did you actually go into NBC? Were you was it a full-time, just going in there every day?
We went every day. Mike Reiss and myself, we wrote about 40 jokes, submitted them to the head writer, Raymond Siller. And we never, ever saw Johnny Carson. We saw him once when we were interviewed for the job, like twice a year when we did new product spots, and then once when he had his annual party, and they said the writers have to perform. So Mike and I did this like kooky faux striptease thing where I played piano and he popped balloons, and we met, saw Johnny there, and that was it, about 4 times in a year and a half.
Do you remember any of the jokes that you got on there, whether it was Karnak or?
Yeah, well, I remember when we wrote that didn't get on, which was a Karnak, which was St. Elsewhere, what's the message on Mother Teresa's answering machine?
Oh.
And then we had one that got on twice because we forgot we had submitted it. And it was called Red. It was Red Square. What's that mark on Gorbachev's head? And the first time it got a huge laugh, and the second time it didn't. So like we shouldn't have submitted it twice. And then the other thing, it was a product for celebrity endorsement, a spot about celebrity endorsements. And I remember I wrote this joke, and Mike said, "I don't quite get it." And I go, "I just submitted it." And the head writer said, "I don't really get it, but I let it through." And we could see Johnny look at it on the paper, and he didn't understand it. But then he got a huge laugh. And what it was that Joan Collins was advertising for McDonald's, and the product was Bitch McNuggets. And so just putting those 2 words together got this enormous roar from the audience. So McNugget is always a funny word.
That's great. Now, I mean, what was it? Especially when you're writing for somebody like Carson, who was around forever and iconic, what's it like to write for somebody? Because you have to write for his voice.
Yes. Well, the tough thing was he was in about year 26 or so, and he didn't want to do a lot of new stuff. So it was hard getting, something fresh by him. And then towards the end, he felt challenged by Letterman. So then he was trying, new stuff, but it was difficult because, Letterman had this unique style of humor, and Carson, he had his own great style, but it wasn't the same. And when he was trying to do Letterman style stuff, it didn't quite work.
Yeah. And then you sort of went the opposite direction. You did something groundbreaking. You had It's Garry Shandling Show.